Let's take a look at the streaming quality, the technical quality for some key Netflix exclusives using the Apple TV 4K. We're taking a look at Netflix. I'm going to look at 3 pieces of relatively new /and/or kind of premiere, I would say, content available from Netflix. Let's use the Apple TV 4K on my LG G2 and the developer background debug information to take a look at the streaming technicals. What are we getting? Dolby Vision, Atmos, what kind of bit rates, and all of that. So we're going to look at Cobra Kai, we're going to look at the new Cyberpunk anime series, and we're going to look at Stranger Things. So Cobra Kai first. I'm actually in the middle of watching the last season of this with my wife right now. According to the tags, they're promising us Dolby Vision and 5.1. So what do we get? Not too bad. We've got CDH1 codec, Dolby Vision 5. It is 5.1, not Dolby Atmos. However, the bit rates on the audio, pretty good for 5.1. 643K, pretty much about the maximum I think that you would generally see for a 5.1 audio. A lot of times these streaming providers pull down 5.1 audio as low as 192 kilobit. So I'm really happy to see 640K on a 5.1 title. And on the video side here, Netflix actually doing pretty good. 24.64 peak video bitrate, 16.64 average. For as much announcement, talking, and basically pullback of the actual bit rates that Netflix has discussed and announced and tried to do to deliver better quality or same quality with lower bit rates, it's nice to see that they're actually in the mix for generally pretty solid, reliable, good streaming numbers here still. In the mid-20s on the peak, in the mid-upper teens on the average. That's the floor, I would say, of what I'm usually happy with when I see streaming technicals for a show. I think it is worth noting on Cobra Kai as well, it didn't have a separate tag saying UHD or 4K. It indicated Dolby Vision, but the show is in fact streaming in 4K, 3840 by 2160. All right, new animated series here, Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Netflix telling us we should expect HD Dolby Vision, which actually they do a lot, and I think they do a lot specifically with their animated titles and their animated series titles. 5.1 audio, it's not indicating Atmos. And what do we have here? Well, they are delivering what they promised. It's always nice, at least, when what you get matches the tags. Sadly enough, that's not always the case sometimes with all of these streaming providers. But we are getting CDH1 video codec, Dolby Vision 5, in HD, 1080p, 5.1 audio. Audio bitrate, again, 643 kilobit. Happy with that. That's a decent number. However, though, HD rates here on the video, 9.34 peak, 6.44 average. They're low numbers. At least that does create a little bit of a division between the peak and the average. Roughly almost 50% more video bitrate being put into the most demanding parts of the content that would want the higher bitrate and such. And animation, of course, is a little bit easier, I would say, generally speaking, to encode and master than something shot live. But in any case, it is what it is. You get what you get. Video bit rates here in the single digits, not a 4K show. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the meetings where they plan this stuff out, where Amazon and Netflix and all these companies sit down and say, hey, we're going to make this show, and should we make it HD? Should we make it 4K? Should we make it Atmos? I swear, like they just like throw darts at the board, and you end up with screwy mixes of HDR content with or without Atmos, and yeah, no rhyme or reason. Why in here, late now, 2022, every show, every piece of content that a company makes that they consider to be like strategically important, valuable to the platform and all of that, isn't just always 4K HDR Dolby Atmos. Presumably it's a cost thing. I can't say how much it costs to produce or actually make a piece of content. I'm sure it's crazy expensive. Providing all of those cutting edge technicals probably does add cost to the production. But hey, I'm just a consumer. I'm not the business development person at Netflix. So Netflix, I want 4K, I want Dolby Vision, I want Atmos in everything you make. All right, last one here, Stranger Things. In terms of tags, we're getting Dolby Vision and 5.1. One thing that I've noticed though with Netflix is if you go back a few years from when a show might have started to the most recent seasons, you may actually find different technicals, meaning if a show did well and they put more money into it, the later seasons or the most recent seasons might have better technicals than the episodes from the first seasons. So what we're going to look at here is the last episode of the most recent season of Stranger Things. And what do we get? Pretty good. Happy with this. CDH1 codec seems to be the one that generally pops up on Netflix content. Dolby Vision 5. So the tag said 5.1. This is a Dolby Atmos show. EC3 audio, 16 channels at a whopping 770 kilobit per second. Netflix cares about this show, and I think technicals like this reflect that. Obviously, it's one of the biggest pieces of content that Netflix has ever had, the massive popularity of this show. So I think those earlier seasons or that first season is the one that's sitting there still in 5.1, and in the latter seasons, once they realized how much of a hit they had, they went ahead and invested some more in it, made the Atmos mixes and all of that. So for the last season here, again, 770K. That's the pinnacle, that's the limit, that's the highest I've ever seen in terms of streaming Dolby Atmos. We tend to get 770K from services like iTunes and that, but not all of them. So it's pretty cool to see Netflix delivering that here. And on the video side, 24.77 peak video, 16.77 average video, pretty much in line with what we saw with Cobra Kai. I would imagine then reflective of that's like the level of maximum production or say maximum encoding quality for what Netflix is delivering in its most cutting edge shows at the moment. Super happy with that. My wife and I, we watched this entire series. We definitely finished up the latter part of the most recent season down in the home theater. It was awesome. Highly recommended. So there you go, a streaming technical quality check-in on Netflix. Interestingly enough, when I went back to the main menu, it went back to Stranger Things here, and now I do actually see an Atmos tag. But again, be aware of that. Early seasons, older seasons of a show may not have the same production and coding choices as the latter seasons. So there is that variance there. So what do you think? Are you a big Netflix watcher? Do you like their quality? Any other pieces of Netflix exclusive content that you would like me to check in on in a future iteration of one of these videos? Sound off in the comments, make the request, let me know. Otherwise, please do all the regular YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notification. Leave those comments, even if it's just the thanks. Great job, keep going. I appreciate it. And if you'd like to support the channel more directly, check down below as well. There's super thanks, there's YouTube channel memberships, there's Amazon affiliate links that you're welcome to use, and other ways to financially help the channel grow. And anything you might do is greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching, and coming back for more home theater discussion and fun.